Hi guys, it's me. How are you? I hope you all are doing great. I want to thank you for all your comments on my last few videos, and I want to thank everyone who's reached out to me that I've got to speak to and help you with your story a little bit, help you understand it a little bit more. This video isn't going to be a happy one. I just stopped watching the Gabriel Fernandez docu-series on Netflix, and then I was watching Facebook and what people were saying about the docu-series and all kinds of things, and of course it brought a lot of stuff up in me, and I don't know how in today's society we keep failing children. Like, I wish someone could explain this to me a little bit better, because I don't understand. I mean, seriously. In the 80s, when they failed me and many other children in so many ways that CPS, Child Systems Services, have just let children down, you would think at some point they would get it right if they weren't trying to it's fucked up. So, and I saw a lot of comments, well, the note he wrote to his mom on Mother's Day, I'll be good. And people have a hard time understanding how he would still love his mother so deeply after she was torturing him in such a way. That is very common of kids of child abuse, especially from a mother, when it's your mother who's hurting you, because we're designed to be nurtured by our mother. We come out loving our mother. And when there is a disconnect in that situation, there's a disconnect with us. So, in many people's cases, and you may not understand all of this, but coming from a child of abuse in the 80s, they failed me. They failed my brother. They failed many of my friends that I know. Many people. CPS came in, they took my brother. They didn't take me. He had someone fighting for him. At the time, I did not. It wouldn't be till a couple years later that I was being fought for, but at that time, I was so mind-controlled to do what I was told to do and say what I was supposed to say, and I was so scared of I didn't trust the system at that point. They didn't do anything right by me, so why would I trust them to tell them anything? And that's what is going on with these children. When they continue to try to tell people that something is going on at home and no one listens, or they tell and it gets worse, and it just continues to get worse as they tell more, and then they're made to feel like they're a bad kid or they're a bad person or it isn't true, and all their emotions get messed up. Well, what the hell do you think is going to happen? They're going to stop talking because it wasn't taken care of. You don't have 50 chances to change it. If they're coming forward and you're seeing scars and you're seeing things that are emotionally disturbing about a child, you don't have a bunch of time to sit around and figure out what the hell you're going to do. It's time to help them now. They need help now. They don't need all your questions. They don't need people coming in trying to decide before it's too late, before sexual abuse happens that night, before they get smacked up against the wall the next night. I mean, I obviously I've been triggered by this tremendously, and I've thought about, if I wanted to just come out here and tell my complete story. And the thing is that my story is so long and so there's no words. The type of abuse that I went through in all forms. And not everyone saw the bruises on my face or the bruises under my clothes. And no one could understand the scars on my soul. And people have a hard time believing that mothers can hurt their children. Why? Because there's too many people like me that don't tell their story because they still don't want to hurt their mother. They don't want to hurt their family. They don't want to feel ashamed. And so as we get older, unfortunately, Gabriel will never be able to tell his own story. But there are lots of us out there that can still tell our story, who can hold people accountable for the way that they treat children, and put in maybe, just maybe, the people who don't understand what it is that abuse does to a child, physical, emotional, mentally, sexual abuse, all of that, what it does to a child, what it does to an adult as they're trying to grow up, what it does to a mom when she decides to have kids, what it does to a dad when he tries to have kids. There are just as many boys who get hurt, raped, molested, abused as there is girls, but guys don't talk about it. Guys don't, it's too taboo still for a man to feel a way about his childhood. They're just supposed to get over it. Women, we're just supposed to get over it. Oh, we're too emotional. You should just get over it. How? I want someone to tell me how. When there is so much trauma, and I'm not taking away from people who just, it happened once and they were able to go on their life, or it happened at a certain point in their life and they had supportive families. I'm not taking away from the pain from those people because it still hurts. It's still trauma. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that there are people where the trauma doesn't stop. It doesn't stop when they hit 18. It doesn't stop when they hit 21. It doesn't stop when they get married. It doesn't stop, especially if you never hold the people in your life accountable for what they've done to you. I'm not at a point where I can tell my story completely. There are so many people out there that have been in my life that know a little bit, and there's certain people that know a little bit more. But there's so much trauma and abuse that for me to be able to just freaking hand it to somebody and say, here, hold this for me, they wouldn't understand. Friends, they can only be friends with me for a little while because the amount of pain that I've been through, they can't handle. They can't even understand it. To be able to be friends with me, to be able to be compassionate or believe it, because there's so much, it gets to a point where I've even questioned why. I was talking to my husband last night about it, and how do you unpack all that? How do you explain to somebody, or how do you meet new people? If I had to meet somebody new, it would take me so long to try to explain who I am. And then at that point in my life where I am now, I'm too busy trying to help them that they only get to know little pieces about what I've really been through. And it has a lot to do with being a light worker. That is who we are. We came here, I posted a video that a very great YouTuber named Behati Life did about light workers and the trauma that we go through, and it really hit home for me to understand more about myself as I've been growing and trying to learn about myself and understand why was I chosen to go through trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma. And there's so much psychological trauma that has been done to me from the people who were supposed to love me the most in the world. Most in the world, that I still didn't want to admit to myself. I would have rather took all the pain on and said that there was something wrong with me than taking the pain and putting it on them, because it's who I am. It's easier to think there's something wrong with me than to honestly believe that there's that much evil in the world. But there's that much evil in the world. And having a baby doesn't make you a mother. Having a baby doesn't make you a father. It doesn't make you compassionate. It doesn't make you loving. It doesn't make you anything. It's the actions you put after you have that child that makes you a mom. I want to undo some of my baggage so that at least one day, maybe someone can realize the truth. Realize that the things that you think are so unimaginable, that how could so much happen to one person, they must be lying, happens every day. Phone ringing, sorry. Confirmation. Every day. And they are still failing children. If I could explain to you what social services had me go through when I was a little kid, it didn't help. It added to every piece of my trauma. Every piece of the trauma got made 20 times more, to where I learned to just bury it all. Forget about it until there wasn't a chance to bury it. You can't bury it. It will come back up. It will come back up in many ways in your life. There's so many people who's burying it. And so many people who think that their life is so bad that has no idea what it's like to carry around a suitcase of trauma and not being able to understand that it's not your fault, that it's not because of you. So if you're out there and all the talk about this docuseries, or you've watched it and it's triggered you or it's hurt you, I just want you to know that you're not alone. But we can't bury our heads in the sand that this stuff still isn't happening. We need to tell our stories. We need to hold the people accountable. It doesn't matter what their titles are in our life. And I know that's hard. I am still fighting with it. I still can't say the words out loud. But I just want you to know that I see you. And I see your trauma. And I love you. And if you need someone to talk and someone to understand, hit me up. Because maybe I need someone to talk to too.